Pelican Brew Company is on the scoreboard with today's Daily Ticker, and in your hand with summertime refreshment. Reach for your favorite Pelican Brew at a store near you. Pelican Brewing, born at the beach. Our guest today for the Daily Ticker,
The beach man himself.
the beach man himself, born at the beach himself.
Although I think I beach more than him.
Ooh, are you
I
more
know.
of a beach guy than the original Born at the Beach, Bill Oram?
Well, he was born at the beach, but I actually think in life and in general life right now,
You're a bigger beach guy.
I beach more than him.
I'm looking at his Twitter profile right now, and his background picture is a picture of the beach.
Yeah, he took a photo near the rock. Like, cool. That doesn't mean he beaches more than me.
He also is the big newsbreaker
Yes,
of
he
our market now,
is.
baby. At Bill Oram on Twitter. Go give him a follow.
Sauces.
Columnist at the Oregonian. How does it feel to shake the ground with something? We call it an Oram bomb. What do we want? What
Oh,
phrase do we
yeah.
want to use here? Nope.
That was
There we go. Sorry, we
Mad
didn't get
Dad.
the start of your answer there, Bill. Our thing wasn't working. So go ahead, start over. Our apologies. We're off to a great start.
when in the course of human events. No, I said I'll leave nicknames up to you guys.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Mm.
Weird day yesterday. Weird turn of events. But it was fun to be out front of it a little bit and bring that news to the good folks of Portland. Obviously, something that a lot of people are extremely excited about.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to. I'm not going to include a lot of our off-air conversation. What I'd say is it didn't need to be a weird day. It was a great day for you. You out-Shamsed Sham. Like, do you know how big that is, Oram, that you came out here with an Oram bomb before the Shams bomb? Like, yesterday was a great day. I don't know about weird. You allowed it to be a little weird, but it was a great day for Bill Oram.
I appreciate that very much. Shams was a colleague at the Athletic. He and I co-wrote some stories. We co-bylined some stories. So a lot of admiration for the way that he's able to absolutely own information in the NBA. And so for me to every now and again dip my toe back into that is fun. But I would like to leave that world to him because it's extremely stressful. And I will tell you, as soon as I hit send on that, I collapsed on my living room floor yesterday because it was like the most intense sprint to the finish line of news. I mean, in my career, I don't know what's a bigger piece of news that I've been, on top of or in front of than that. And I don't even know what's a bigger piece of news really that's hit Portland, in a really long time. I mean, the idea, I don't even know if we've said his name yet. The idea of Damian Lillard returning to Portland, given where things were 2 years ago and the actual turn of events that it took to create this is so, would have been so impossible to anticipate, is so unlikely, but for Blazer fans, for Dame, it's just really, really cool. I will say, I've got I think we'll get into this. I have some qualms about this whole thing, maybe unsurprisingly, but, if we just take a moment to appreciate a really cool sports thing that is happening and a really, wonderful feel good storybook moment. This is one of a kind.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Bill Oram is our guest. Columnist of the Oregonian at Bill Oram on Twitter broke the news yesterday of Lillard's return to Portland. I hope you texted Shams like a Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're last, Jeff, because that would be great. Let's get to both sides of this, though, Bill, because I think you're spot on. And we've been talking about it all morning, where there's unquestionably the tugging at the heartstrings. This guy has meant more to this community than anybody who has ever donned that uniform. And that will mean something no matter what your thoughts are on the win now move or what does the roster look like, that's going to be an impactful thing that happens to the city and this organization. And then there's the other side of it of what is the vision? How does a guy at 35 coming off an Achilles fit in? As you've now had some time to let this breathe, you break the news. Where do you reside on those two sides of the coin in reacting to the news of Lillard's return?
Yeah, I think you're kind of all over it right there. I mean, I would love to be inside Joe Cronin's mind right now. Are you re-signing Damian Lillard because you think that he is, going to be the star of this team, the leader of this team a year from now when he's back on the court? Or is this a case where Damian Lillard can be a Portland Trailblazer whenever he wants to be a Portland Trailblazer? There is a home for him here no matter what, and we will figure that out. I think that there's a question of which one that is. Maybe it's a little bit of both. The Blazers, I think it has been I think disentangling from Dame has been really hard for the fan base, for the franchise. For those 11 years that he was here, he was the entire center of gravity. Everything revolved around him. Everything was about him. The team was designed around him, obviously. And, to kind of sort of, I don't mean that as it's a bad thing, but
right.
to kind of come out of that haze is really, really difficult. And I think the Blazers had just reached a point where people were going to be able to get excited about a Blazers team that didn't have Damian Lillard on it. You had, you built some real momentum with this Denny Advia, Tumani Kamara, Shaden Sharp maybe is on upswing. You get rid of DeAndre Ayton, who was a weight. He was
bad vibes.
You move on from Anthony Simons, who didn't fit with the backcourt. It just was really all starting to make sense, and it felt like there was a new Blazers momentum. And then you bring Dame back, and it's like, okay, well, so what now is really my question, because this has been Dame's team. Is it Dame's team still? I think the answer inevitably has to be yes, but he won't play this year, as we know. And then when he comes back, we have no idea what kind of player he's going to be. And I would also just highlight, from a basketball standpoint, Dame is a ball dominant, a very ball dominant guard. And the Blazers have built this like defensive run and gun movement, motion offensive team, with, a 6'9" power forward, maybe like a small forward, initiating the offense at a lot of times. What happens when you put Damian Lillard in the middle of that? I don't think if you were designing the perfect player to put with the roster that Joe Cronin has built, you would have been looking for a player like Damian Lillard, frankly, just given the kind of personnel they have.
Right.
And so I just am really going to be interested to see what this ends up looking like, because, the best case scenario here is that Dame comes back at 100%, and he has 2 or 3 years, plays well into his late 30s. I mean, even to 37, 38, right? If he has a couple of years still playing at a, all-star level, averaging 20 plus points, and everybody else kind of raises the bar, and he actually gets a chance to, really carry this team deep into the playoffs. Like, that's the best case scenario. I mean, the worst case scenario is, that he isn't that player, but that, Portland still treats him like that player, and the fan base still views him as that figure. And you end up in a, guys, like I was there for Kobe Bryant's last year in LA, and you had this really sort of encouraging young group of players that they drafted, lottery picks they drafted, who kind of had to take a back seat to this 37-year-old, gunner who every stop was, and it wouldn't be the same, but just to be clear with Dame's a different personality and a different, and also just like Dame's an icon here. Kobe was an icon everywhere. So Kobe had a farewell tour in a way that I don't think Dame would, but it really detracted from the Lakers' ability to, go out and try to build their team. And the Blazers will be 2 years down the road from where they are right now. So I'm really interested to see how it's all going to work. But I also get why Blazer fans are so happy. And I do think that sometimes you do need to put you can get swallowed up by the world of the NBA and salary caps and second aprons and all that. And sometimes it's good just to sit back and say, this is really cool. So I'm trying to do that, but I have the voice in my head saying, is this a good idea or is it not?
Well, we're paid to evaluate and give opinions on the team. And so, when we also have human sides where it's like, hey, this is great. The city's happy. The fans are ecstatic, obviously. But we've been saying it all morning. There's two sides to the coin. There's the feel-good moment of him back, and then there's the other side of, is this roster make a lot of sense? So, what if you were a Scoot Henderson? You're going into a pretty pivotal year 3. The team is traded for a point guard from a title team, and then they just signed the point guard you were drafted to seemingly replace, who's going to be coming back off an Achilles. I understand the leadership, the mentor stuff. He's lockers right next to Dame's. What are you thinking of your Scoot Henderson as a player with what the team has done now with these 2 moves?
Well, it's weird, undeniably. But if I'm Scoot, like, I just take I just go in with the mentality that I'm going to take any uncertainty out of the equation. I would go in with the mentality that, that it's going to be uncomfortable because I will be the established, clear leader, starting point guard of this team when Dame comes back, and Dame has to figure it out, not me. Dame's the one coming onto my team,
Right.
and I think, I was saying this yesterday, like, if a year from now Scoot Henderson can't clearly and undeniably beat out a 36-year-old Damian Lillard coming off of an Achilles tendon rupture, then the question has sort of answered itself. That is.
Is that kind of the point of the signing then, in a way? Like, you obviously want to make the fans happy, but is that kind of the point of the signing? Is to
now
say,
or never, see
figure
what you
it
got?
out or you're done?
I think that's the case for Scoot anyway. I think that was kind of the point of Drew Holiday. Like, this is like you said, it's a pivotal year for him. If he has another year where he's kind of just out there, and he had great moments last year. I mean, year 2 Scoot Henderson versus year 1 Scoot Henderson was dramatically better. So if year 3 Scoot Henderson is dramatically better than from year 2 Scoot Henderson, then I think he's in pretty good shape. But it's clearly a year where he needs to start figuring some things out and start taking control. I just wonder. And I wrote this in a piece a couple weeks ago, and I'm getting some crap for it, and I get it. Like I said, Blazers shouldn't sign Damian Lillard. I don't think they will sign Damian Lillard, all that. But, I think one of the hardest things here is this was going to be – it finally felt like the young guys were in charge. This was their team. And that's really refers to the collective. But, Denny, Tumani, and Scoot, Scoot Henderson had a real opportunity here to step up as a leader. We heard so much about his leadership when he was coming out in the draft back in 2023. And this, I think, would have been the first opportunity for us to really see that. And now, well, you got Damian Lillard at the next locker, even though he's rehabbing from Achilles, it's probably his team again. And so I think that, just more than I think minutes when he comes back or, salary. I mean, the salary is really a non-issue. It's a sweetheart deal for the Blazers. I think it's the oxygen. Dame takes up a lot of oxygen, and I wonder how that's going to change the ability for these young guys to really take this team and run with it.
Interesting. Bill Oram is our guest, columnist at the Oregonian, at Bill Oram on Twitter. You can also find him on Blue Sky as well. Broke the news yesterday of Lillard's return to Portland. I brought this up earlier in the show, Bill, and since you're the big newsbreaker in our market on the Blazers, I want to get your thoughts on it, and that is – we live in a conspiracy theory time in this world. There's no doubt about it. Everybody's trying to connect dots and got tinfoil hat on.
Release the Blazer files.
I have a reaction to some of the things that have happened and wonder, can you really tell me that they're not connected? And I'm not saying the only reason, but they have drafted a international sensation with their first round pick who was added, an incredible amount of interest internationally in
400
your team.
new viewers, 400
new
million
viewers and the media members, and just what it means for the just interest in the Portland Trailblazers internationally. And then you bring back a guy who unquestionably will pack the arena in a way it has not been packed since his departure, when the team has been floundering and without a star. Am I wrong in connecting these to a sale of the team? Do you think they're just basketball? Is there a small percentage of connection? I'm just curious to get your thoughts on that.
So what, is that the Ripstein files or the Ripstein files?
Let's stay away from the Ripstein stuff.
Files.
Let's stay away from
that's
that.
Pretty good. Well played there.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't know if it's full on conspiracy tinfoil hat stuff, but you're a smart guy.
Thank you.
Joe Cronin is a smart guy. Dwayne Hankins is a smart guy. Burt Cold and Jody Allen are smart people. They're surrounded by smart people. Let's say whatever you want. These are not unintelligent people who understand the way these things all, correspond with each other. And I remember having a conversation with, an executive with another team when the Blazers first went for sale, and I was asking kind of how a GM would approach an offseason when the team is for sale in terms of taking back money and taking back other contracts. And this person had said, well, individual moves don't change the value of the team unless you have a Damian Lillard type player. Like the value of the team was higher with Damian Lillard on it than it is at this exact moment. And that might be, with whatever. I mean, we're not talking, a full additional $1 billion.
Right.
But like, yes, like that makes the team more attractive and more valuable. The Young Hansen thing is the exact same thing. Like, I think that, I was a little hard on Joe Cronin for the pick because it was so out of left field, but he's played really well in summer league. He's really intriguing. Mm-hmm. I think he has validated the pick with the way he's played. He still does bring an entire continent of eyeballs to Portland that it wouldn't have otherwise had. And so I think, like, I hate to be like constantly sort of diplomatic on this and with all these things, but it's the same with the Dame signing, right? Like, is it a good idea or is it just for the vibes? I think both things are true. I think that these are, decisions that you can justify and make some sense separate from the fact that the team is for sale, but you can credibly point out that these things also help the team. Mm-hmm. And help the Allen Trust in the sale process. And by the way, the Dame decision is probably the harder one to justify, frankly.
Yeah.
Just from the standpoint of, like, this does not align with what you've been trying to do basketball-wise for the last 2 years. But again, I don't think that the Blazers are the only team in the NBA that would, or especially over NBA history, who would tell a player, if you have a home here whenever you want it. Like, that is not, I don't think that is a totally unreasonable place to be with a player who has done as much for your organization as Damian Lillard has. And so, but I just really, it's a really awkward time for him to decide he wanted a home here. And I'm frankly a little bit surprised, but good for the fans.
Yeah. I'll be at the beach this weekend, Bill. Are you going to be at the beach?
Ooh.
I will be at the beach soon. Yes.
Okay, soon.
Yeah, I was born at the beach.
He was, yeah.
As you pointed out,
you moved.
I think Sprague's going a little stolen valor here. He's trying to steal your thunder, your beach thunder.
Yeah. Beach Sprague.
I know. It really. My dad lives at the beach.
Yeah,
I visit my dad at the beach.
Yeah.
Maybe I just don't post as many like shirtless selfies at the beach as Sprague does.
We need some topless Oram photos on the coast next time it happens.
Well done there.
Before we let you go, since you're the big Blazer newsbreaker in our market now, anything else you want to break? Anything else going on?
It's about 75 and sunny outside in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Let me be the first to tell you guys that since you've been in the studio since 5.
Look at that. The breaking news left and right.
Bill Oram next week at Media Day.
Next week, Big Ten Media Day. Yeah. He's a columnist at the Oregonian. He broke the news yesterday. Go give him a follow on Twitter. Follow him on Blue Sky. Thanks as always for the time. Enjoy your next trip to the beach, and let's do this again soon.
Great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go, Bill Oram of the Oregonian. Questioning his beach status.
Well, I don't
kind of a fake beach guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
seems more like a Sun River guy to me.
I feel like you got to do that to get people from the beach. You know what I mean? You got to push back a little bit.
I can't imagine. I've never broken news, and I never will break news. The reaction that he felt hitting send on that tweet. That's got to be like a.
I've had it both ways.
Yeah.
I've had it where I was right, and then I had it where I was wrong, and it is the worst feeling in the world when you're wrong.
Yeah, you don't want to be wrong on that one.
Boy, when you're wrong on something, even if it's tiny, it's just like,
wrong.
I'm staying off social media forever.
Yikes. There you go. That is the Daily Ticker. It is always brought to you by our wonderful friends at Pelican Brewing. They are on today's scoreboard with the ticker and a drink in your hand for summertime refreshment. Reach for your favorite Pelican brews at a store near you. Pelican Brewing, born to the beach.